Well, the celebration begins. The impeachment proceedings from the House are obviously just a whole crock. And Hunter Biden is skipping along with his father, celebrating the time of being exonerated. Now, I was on X, Twitter, a message to Elon. I get the whole X thing. You've shown it throughout your life. But I always feel like I'm telling people I'm going to an adult site when I say I was on X. A little uncomfortable. So don't mind if I still tend to say Twitter. And I'm noticing all of these Democrats and liberals celebrating what just happened. And if you don't know, one of the major players in the whole impeachment investigation, he got arrested. And we talked about that before. Isn't it funny that as soon as you come out against the Biden administration, something happens? Arrest or inquiry or investigation, that kind of thing. And this guy told the FBI, after he got arrested, the FBI and the DOJ, that all the information he got was from Russian intelligence, Russian assets. And the information that he received was used by the House Investigation Panel Committee for impeachment proceedings. So all of the left is now celebrating and say, see, it's all Russians, it's Russian hoax, which don't you find that interesting that right at the moment, it's the Russians, the laptop, Russians, the information, Russians, Trump, Russians. It's always the Russians. So my first question is, if you sit down with the FBI and DOJ and they look at you and they say, you have two choices. We are going to squash this investigation, so you choose how you want to play. Wouldn't you think for a second, it was the Russians. The Russians did it. That's who did it. That's who told me this information. Now, how did the House GOP come across this information? This guy was, by the FBI and DOJ's own admittance, Smirnov. Smirnov was a credible informant. And he was so high in the informant chain that he actually had the permission to commit crimes. And the DOJ and the FBI for years said, very credible, great guy, blah, blah, blah. He had filled out a form for another investigation, and this form was found by the GOP. And that form talked about millions of dollars in the whole Biden scheme with Burisma. And so the GOP went with it and said, we need more information on this. What the left is saying is that was their fundamental piece. That was the biggest piece. See, it's all what these people haven't seen or don't realize is there are a lot of other pieces of evidence that the whole Burisma thing in Ukraine is a big issue. Let's recap. Hunter Biden sat on the board of a Ukrainian oil and gas company. He does not speak Ukrainian, has never been involved in oil and gas, and by their own admission, he's never even been to Ukraine. How do you get on a board of a global oil and gas company when you can't speak the language, don't know the field, and you actually have never actually been to the country, supposedly? Yet, big old payments are coming your way. And others from Ukraine have said there were phone calls of, we're being investigated. We need something done about this. And a couple days later, Joe Biden, out of his own mouth, talks about a situation where he pressured the Ukrainians to fire the prosecutor who just so happened to be investigating Burisma, or else he was going to withhold funding to Ukraine. And he jokes about how quickly, 6 hours later, that guy was fired because the Ukrainians wanted the money. I say all this because I think it's important to remember, don't get myopic in your view. And Jim Jordan, who, of course, Jordan and Comer, all the left is saying, see, they should be charged and this is totally false and all that. Jordan came out and said, look, it was a piece of evidence. We honestly don't even need it. And he's right. Now, I really question this guy's credible witness for years, and then all of a sudden, he comes, well, it's Russian asset stuff, Russian intelligence, and it's probably not true, blah, blah, blah. I would not be surprised If that conversation with the FBI, who knew him very well, said, look, if you don't redact, if you don't make this look dirty, we will come at you. So just tell us you got it from some Russians. Things will be fine. Your whole case, it'll disappear. Isn't it funny? And I've pointed out in my other videos how Andrew Cuomo, sexual assault allegations, forced to retire, forced to resign. You notice the guy's not anywhere anymore. And then the judge dismisses the case. Eric Adams, mayor of New York, comes out against the Biden administration in terms of illegal immigration and all of that. All of a sudden, campaign finance manager gets raided. They're looking into his campaign finances, which if you look hard enough, you can find anything, right? And a sexual assault case, which is like that. That's like that's like the mob leaving a dead fish in wrapping on your doorstep. It's like the calling card of, hey, you're messing up here. It's amazing to me. People still put credibility into these sexual assault cases. And I'm not saying there aren't true ones, but isn't it funny that somebody comes out of the woodwork years after and suddenly has an allegation? And guess what happened with all of that with Eric Adams? He changed his tune, and it all got swept under the rug. Oh, what sexual assault? Nah, dismissed. Campaign fight? Yeah, we closed that. So the Smirnov guy, it's just funny to me. We'll arrest him. We'll press him. And I guarantee you his case will dissolve. It'll go away. It'll get dismissed. We investigate, we close. He's fine because he played ball. And if you look into the investigations into Hunter Biden and how much has been swept under the rug, how much has been done away with, you're left looking at a situation where isn't it funny that somebody keeps coming up clean with the defense of the government? And that's the difference. Trump has never had the defense of the government. And I find it interesting that they say he's not clean. They try to get their rulings, but it's always tenuous in the evidence. Whereas on the Biden side, full defense of the government. The government has defended them at every turn, and they keep coming up clean. So left, you can celebrate this. That's fine. I do ask you to pay attention and question, is Hunter Biden really the moral, upstanding citizen that you really want to put your money behind? There are a lot of videos and pictures and emails and stuff that even if you say it's Russian disinformation, nobody has come out and said all of this is AI. This is fake. This is photoshopped. It has not been said, and especially not by your uppity-ups in the deep state. We've just kind of swept it under the rug. If you guys like this content, please think about subscribing. Please hit that notification bell. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, a review. Go to theselfevidenttruth.com for more information about who we are and what we do. Thank you so much, guys. Love y'all.